Writing a birth plan is about doing the work beforehand, so when the day of labor arrives, you trust your support team and are ready for every twist and turn birth may take. Today we're going to discuss how to write an effective birth plan. My name is Jamie, I'm a midwife, I've been attending births for over a decade. Now, in order to write an effective birth plan that your provider is going to respect, you'll need to cover 3 separate plans. That's right, 3 different plans. So, what are those plans going to look like? We'll talk about that later. First, we need to cover what you need to do before we even start writing a birth plan. As always, you can find my guide for writing a birth plan below, and I'll cover all the templates there. So, for starters, you need to put some work in beforehand. Understand that your provider has put years, if not over a decade, into learning the ins and outs of birth. You need to show up with some knowledge of the birth process and every different alternative it could take in order to have preferences for how you want your birth to go. So the first plan, the rough draft. You've done your work, you've learned how childbirth can go, you've learned about all the different options, what you want, what you don't want. The thing is, they may not all be available, and your provider's policies may be different than your birth location's policies. For example, your provider may not have an opinion about eating in labor, but if you're giving birth at the hospital, they might. Or you might want to use a shower or bath in labor, but the place you're planning to give birth at requires an IV and therefore does not allow you to use water in labor. So, once you've cleared out what is actually even available to you, you can start on your second birth plan, which is actually specifically for your support team. This is who your birth plan is actually intended for, because the majority of the birth plan is physical and emotional comforts and environmental, and the nursing staff and your doctors, this does not apply to them. This is the people who are on your team during labor. So who are you planning on attending your birth? Your partner, your friend, a doula, this is who your birth plan is actually intended for. Last but not least, the third birth plan, and you guessed it, this one is for the medical providers and can actually be divided into 2 parts. The labor and delivery providers and the pediatric team, and that would be preferences for the baby and postpartum care. Now, the preferences for the medical providers should also go on your support person plan, because they are likely going to be the people overseeing that these are carried out, right? They're the ones with you from early labor through delivery and the postpartum period, so you should all be on the same page, whoever you're planning on having by your side in birth. Writing 3 birth plans may seem excessive, but you do it because it is acknowledging that your medical providers and the staff are busy and don't necessarily always have time to read through a thorough plan that they don't feel actually applies to them. So cutting out unnecessary things that don't apply to them is going to make it more likely that they will sit and read and respect your plans. Writing a birth plan is not about control, it's about respecting the process and your providers and trusting them to carry out what is in yours and your baby's best interest, while also adhering to what matters to you. Hit subscribe for more honest truths about pregnancy, birth, and the postpartum period.